Hi, I'm Derek Kilmer, State Senator for the 26th Legislative District, which goes from the Tacoma Narrows Bridge to downtown Bremerton. Today I want to talk to you about the state budget. As many of you have read in the paper, we face enormous challenges in balancing our state budget this year. The size of the problem in recent weeks has gotten bigger. The preliminary revenue forecast now puts our state in worse fiscal shape than when the initial all-cuts budget was proposed in November. I've heard from a lot of folks who wonder, so is the federal government going to bail us out? Well, the federal economic recovery bill signed by President Obama is not a bailout. The situation is still worse even after the federal dollars are factored in. So why is this happening? Well, the global economic meltdown has made our task much bigger. We're seeing a drop in state revenues, and just in the last year, we've seen more than $6 billion lost in our projections for the next two-year period. Washington's current shortfall is the largest in modern state history, both in terms of total dollars, over $8 billion, and in terms of the percentage of the overall budget. It is nearly a quarter of the state budget. We're not alone. The recession that we're facing has wreaked havoc on 46 state budgets all across the country. If you add them all up, it's over $350 billion over the next two-year cycle. So what do? Well, a crisis like this is a test of our basic values. We can't let tough times become an excuse for sacrificing the things that matter most to our families: access to health care, protections for those who can't take care of themselves, and education for our children. We've already taken steps to protect those vital state responsibilities by sending a first round of budget cuts to the governor's desk, the earliest budget cuts in state history, an indication of just how urgent this situation is. But we've got plenty more work to do. Our starting point will be looking at more cuts. Using only a cuts approach, if you only looked at cutting the budget and trying to fill the budget holes we now face, you could eliminate our entire state correctional system, close every state prison. You could eliminate our entire higher education system, every community college, technical college, UW, WSU, Western, Eastern, Central, and the Evergreen State College. You could cut all care for our seniors and all care for those with developmental disabilities, and that would almost bridge the shortfall. These are enormous challenges. Each day I'm hearing from folks who are concerned about the proposed cuts. I've heard from people who are concerned, for example, about the proposed closure of two of the state parks in our legislative district, Kopechek State Park and Joanna Beach State Park. Those are two state parks that I've taken my daughter Sophie to, and I know that a lot of families enjoy spending time at those state parks. And those are the types of things that are in the crossfire given the size of these budget challenges. Earlier last week, I met with a gentleman from Port Orchard who has AIDS, and he said he was on a state program that provided him help paying for the medications that he needs to stay alive. In the budget that the governor put forth earlier this year, that program would see a significant reduction in funding, and he's worried about how that might affect him and his family. He's worried about staying alive. I've also heard from a number of people who are concerned about proposed cuts in mental health funding. We've got, for example, in Kitsap County, Kitsap Mental Health Services, which provides important services, comprehensive mental health services. Those services are very important to ensure that folks get the services that they need so that they don't end up homeless or committing crime or unemployed. But they're facing also, in these tough budget times, substantial cuts. Many of the cuts will have an enormously destimulating impact on our budget as well. Economics professor Dick Starts of the University of Washington estimates that every $1 billion reduction in annual government spending during the recession will cost Washington about 15,000 public and private sector jobs. We heard that in the Higher Ed Committee that I chair. Just looking at the cuts in the governor's budget, and now we're going to see more cuts, you're talking about 200 jobs at the University of Washington, dozens of jobs at our institutions of higher education throughout the state. As you can imagine, we have our work cut out for us. We got to do the things that we do well in tough times. That's work together. Democrats and Republicans, advocates and citizens, all levels of government. We got to be working together to help find solutions. I don't think the challenges we face are Democrat or Republican challenges. They're not left or right challenges. They're forward or backwards challenges. And we got to do everything we can to move this state forward. It's a difficult challenge for all of us. We're all in this together. And we need to rise to meet this challenge as one community. If you have ideas about how we meet this challenge, I hope you'll contact me at 360-786-7650 or email me at kilmer.derek@ledge.wa.gov. I'm honored to represent you, and thanks for listening.